I don't feel supported by my partner and I'm about to lose it. People are getting real. And I think sometimes it's almost easier if you do feel like your childhood best friend or somebody you've known forever is going to judge you for saying something. Sometimes it's a little easy to go and like vent into a community that maybe you don't know one-on-one, but like they're a community of parents. We're all in it together. And what you're saying is relatable.
So I've definitely been in my feels lately, and it makes me really happy that I have a therapist that I know and love and trust, because I just can't imagine going through life without a therapist at this point. You actually had me laughing so hard, Casey. I was listening to one of our episodes and you reference your therapy.
Therapy, it's the plural of therapist. I made it up and it sticks. So I have 3 currently.
Yeah, I mean, there's no shame in our game. We think that therapy and mental health services are so important. So grateful that BetterHelp is a sponsor of the show. We want to make sure that you and our audience has access to it as well. All you have to do is go to betterhelp.com/motherup and you can get access to licensed therapists who are trained to listen and give you that helpful, unbiased advice. I mean, I know that you have us, but unfortunately we can't directly talk to you through the podcast, but you go to their site, you answer a few questions, and they match you to somebody who has years of experience, who is helping people just like you in a way that fits you. So whether it's somebody that is faith-based or if you prefer a certain gender, I mean, they really get specific in how they can select a therapist for you. You do it all from your phone or computer, video calls, phone calls, messaging,
and
however you feel
demand.
the most comfortable. You'll be matched with somebody usually within 48 hours, so you can get started fast for those issues that really just can't wait. So thank you to our sponsor, BetterHelp. Let them connect you to a therapist who could support you, all from the comfort of your own home. Visit betterhelp.com/motherup and enjoy a discount of 10% off of your first month on us. Casey, I want to say that you started out motherhood with a huge advantage. Do you know what that advantage is?
Age?
Nope.
Don't know.
Me. That was your advantage.
That's true.
Because I had already gone through it.
Mm-hmm.
Sienna was a year and a half old when you got pregnant with Jack. So I was like, girlfriend, I've been using all the things. I've been scouring the internet. I've been figuring it all out. Here's everything that you need to know.
The Bible is what you sent me. It was like an 18-page comprehensive PDF with clickable links.
I did. I do have a Bible. We keep teasing that to our audience. Maybe one of these days we will make it a PDF. But yeah, so products that you needed, things that you needed to consider, just different things about going through motherhood. And that is I'm not talking myself up at this point, but just anybody, to have a community like that is so important. And that's obviously probably why a lot of you are here listening to us just chat every week, is because just having these feelings feel validated is really important.
Well, we talked to Casey Smith about that, about how it does take a village, but there is no physical village anymore because we are such a nomadic people, and everyone you love and rely on, or most of the time, are scattered across the country, even the globe.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'd say pros and cons to that, because cons are there's not that physical thing where people are here anymore, but now
can you watch my kid?
Right. But the pro is that you're opened up to so many other women who maybe they're people in your community aren't feeling a certain thing, but somebody across the globe maybe or across the country. And that's why we love our guest today, Lily Walla. She is the CEO and founder of a platform called Auggie, Auggie. If you're not on it, you should be. It is 2 awesome things put together. So think of Facebook groups, but without all the Karens and without all the ridiculousness. And then your favorite website that has reviews on every product, but for baby stuff. So amazing idea. Lily, how did you come up with it?
First and foremost, thank you for having me. I feel like I'm talking to 2 friends. I'm so excited to get into it. How did I come up with the idea? Well, I was sent a Bible from a friend. In fact, I was sent a few of them. And I was fascinated that moms, for the most part, tend to write these intense Bibles to share with friends. And it started off by collecting a bunch, like thousands of those Bibles, and just following the wisdom and talking to a bunch of parents. I was pregnant with my son Jackson at the time, and I realized there was no platform built just for the default parent, for the parent carrying the majority of the mental load. And that's where Auggie was born.
Mm-hmm. And so talk about how like the community, what that has like brought into, like, where did you think that was going to go and how has that like come into life?
So the community started as a WhatsApp group that absolutely exploded. In 4 months, we hit capacity.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was insane. We had topic spaces for starting solids and registry recommendations and due date pods. And we had no idea it was going to take off the way that it did. So we sprinted to get our mobile app live. So our mobile app is now the home of our community. You can find your location, you can find your due date pod, but then you can chat with other parents. And then all of the recommendations coming out of the chats we're scraping, and those are the ones powering our marketplace on Auggie.com. So you can shop and do all of the things that you have to do from vetted recommendations from parents. But to answer the question more directly, like we had no idea the community was going to take off.
Can you do a registry from your website or from your app right now?
So really good question. Registry is coming very
Love
soon,
that. Okay,
hopefully early winter. Yeah.
Yeah, because I hate on Baby List, it doesn't let you pull everything. Like I am a phone girl. I want to do everything on my phone. I don't know where my laptop is. It's usually dead. So if I can do it from my phone, and then like a lot of times with Baby List, I found this cute outfit on Neiman's, but you have to like grab the link and bring it in and it doesn't transfer the size or the color or like that kind of stuff. So that's what I need. That is my call to action too.
We are doing that. And by the way, Gianna, we need to talk because we can host your Bible on Auggie for you to share with your audience. That would be so fun. Yes.
Perfect. Okay, we'll get another one together.
So you can create Bibles or mom guides or baby guides, whatever you want to call them, on Auggie right now in 2 ways. You can convert a past registry into a guide, or you can create one from
that's
scratch.
smart.
Do the people monetize them? Like, do the moms monetize it?
Not yet, but coming soon.
Cool. Okay, so it's kind of like a mom influencer. And then also, can you rate it? Like, can people say like, this one sucks?
Yep. Oh yeah, you can.
That's what I'm thinking.
That's negative, but
the best part of it.
That's like sometimes the most helpful. Like my high chair. I live in Brooklyn. We have the Stoke or however you pronounce it, high chair.
Everyone does.
Don't recommend it. Honestly, it's a toe stubber. Like it's too bulky.
You have the one that have like the four legs that come out like that, right?
The stance is too wide. It's like the spray is too wide.
It's funny that you say that. Because my friend in New York was the same thing. I spent the weekend out of her house and the whole weekend was her and her husband tripping over the damn thing and being like, we hate this chair. We hate this chair. And it is funny because it's a beautiful looking chair.
Yeah. That's why I bought it.
Right. So like even when I was looking for my second child, I was like, oh, this is so pretty. And then I realized it was the same one that she was tripping over. And I was like, okay, no. So I'm on the platform. I've been going in and out of it. Honestly, even just before we logged on, there was somebody in the community that was like, I'm having sleepless nights. I'm looking for something to read. What do you recommend? And I just like went and dropped a couple books and I was like, there you go, girl. But the marketplace, the reviews is the smartest thing. Like Casey, you mentioned Baby List, and that was like my, was it Baby List? Yeah, Baby List. And then there's like the What to Expect app too. Both of them have like their marketplaces, but there's no reviews. There's like stars, but there's not really, that's like maybe some have 3, maybe some have 4. The products that you have like 20, 30, 40 comments and reviews on each of them. And it's moms being like, cannot live without this thing. I absolutely love it. Or this worked, like kind of like the comment you just gave. That's
the real like stuff.
The real stuff. I'm also getting to be the kooky crunchy mom. Like I literally have a tinfoil shirt on that has a chicken
foil hacking. Oh my God.
I bought them for like every man in my family.
Stop it. You're embarrassing me in front of our new friend.
But my question is, do you have like crunchy mom things?
We have a place for you.
For example, like Nuna doesn't use any flame retardants and that people like to use Nuna because of that. So like things like that I like. And I also like normal things. Like I'm going to put my daughter in a Doona. Like, I know it has flame retardants. I'm sorry. The Doona is too, it makes too much sense for me to buck that trend. Oh, yeah.
No, convenience and then crunchy.
Yes.
Yeah, we have a place for everyone. You onboard, you tell us who you are, what type of parents you want to connect with, and we
it's like
auto populate. Oh, it's literally like
it's a dating app for moms. I love this. This segues into our it's hard to meet mom friends as an adult.
It's really hard to meet mom friends as an adult, but you pointed at something in the beginning of this, which was we're obviously solving for a business problem, but there is such a bigger emotional problem that we are solving for here.
Hello, welcome to Mother Up Podcast. Why
exactly.
Welcome to emotional hot messes in real form.
I may cry on this, so just FYI. We have spoken to hundreds of default parents, and I keep saying default parents because majority of default parents in this country are moms, but there are some outliers, of course, that are dads. And the default parent that we are speaking to does not feel seen by their partner at home, but who makes them feel seen are their other mom friends. And there's a huge amount of validation, and that is the emotional problem. Like you said, like we're pouring hours into research. We just want someone to listen to us and be like, you're doing a really great job. And so that is my goal for Auggie, because you shouldn't have to figure it out alone. And so that's very much who we are.
I love that.
What did you feel was your motherhood journey? I mean, you're still on it, obviously, but like in the beginning phases of it, like, did you feel alone? Is that what was part of the impetus of you doing this?
Yes, because I was the first one in my friend group to get pregnant, and you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And so who do you turn to?
Well, our moms were like, oh, there's a Graco car seat. It's like, mom, like, no, it's, there was one back then and one stroller.
Exactly. And like my mom's always schlepping stuff. And remember, the stroller would always like fall over with all the stuff in it. I'm like,
because you'd hang your bags on the handles and it would just tip backwards. Yeah.
I was like, Mom, no, we can't. We're not on the same page. My stroller is like my SUV. It holds everything. And it
even
is not
for me,
falling over.
I'm looking for like a 2-kid stroller, but my son is not a stroller kid. Like he is a wild and crazy man. So I'm like, maybe I get the stroller with the stand-up platform on the back. I don't know which one that is, but maybe that's the one.
I feel that for you. I think that would be great. Honestly, kids are loving that. And I would recommend the bugaboo one, not the I think it's like the dragonfly. I don't know. They're all
cute
bugs. Yeah.
What do you have now, Casey?
I have the Nuna Traveler, which is, you just like click a button and throw it and it like folds up.
Oh, that's
nice.
So best. You're a fan.
Love it. Absolutely. Do not buy the yo-yo. It is the dumbest piece of garbage ever. People live and die for the yo-yo. Jack's like all the way back like this, and he's like trying to see things. I hate that stroller.
Oh, I don't
like that you can't fold it with one hand. Like if I need two hands to fold it. Yeah.
They're up high. No, yes. Okay, keep going. Sorry. I'm just
that's like that's your point right there. Like that's the kind of stuff that you don't know to look for or to think about until you're in the game.
$500 each.
Yeah.
And I'm an internet girl. Like I want to order it online and I want it to be delivered. Yes. I do not want to go to the store. I don't want to take Jack. He's going to break stuff while I'm trying out the strollers. No, I can't do it.
Yes. Agree.
Yes.
Agree.
So, okay. So go ahead. So back to your motherhood experience. So you're the first one out of all your friends.
So I'm the first one.
What the heck is going on?
Exactly. Like strangers are sending me these baby Bibles of all of these recommendations. They're supposed to be helpful, but they're incredibly overwhelming.
Yes.
Then I go to register. Half of my mom's friends don't know how to use the registry. So I'm getting gifts from like left and right, on top of feeling like absolute and selling my last business at the same time. And then I have my baby and I had horrible postpartum depression.
Did you?
Did you realize it at the time, or were you like, I'm good?
So that's a really good question, because I've had a psychologist, my mom's a psychologist, my partner's really helpful. And even with all of those resources in my life, it took me way too long to realize that I could take medicine.
Looking back, why was it? What was your, like for me, my mental block was, I'm a really emotionally strong person. I've got this. I have nothing to be, I should be so grateful right now. I have nothing to be unhappy about.
I think mine was like, I internalized it so much for too long. Like I remember being in situations and I'm like a happy person and like laugh all the time. Right. And I remember being like, oh, someone told a joke. Like you should laugh now. It didn't feel like normal.
You were like, just like in the mud, like trying to go through the motions. Yeah.
I did not see the light. And it took me a while to realize that like that wasn't normal. And then of course I started talking to my mom and my partner, and I took medicine, and it's the best thing that ever happened to me. I'm never going off of it. I'm going to take it my whole next pregnancy, hopefully. And yeah, people don't talk about that. I mean, well, whatever, we can get personal here too, but I think
if you're willing to share, let her rip, baby.
Yeah, I got rocked by postpartum, and then when my son was 7 months, so like right when I'm coming out of the fog, we had a dog for 9 years that like went after his face, 40 lacerations. It was terrible. And so like he's fine now, and I'm going to get shamed for talking about this, but we tried to rehome the dog. I just want to reiterate, we tried for months and months. The dog was my everything. But he had dog bite incidents. And now with Jackson, my son, and the bite, we ultimately decided to put him down. And it was the hardest thing that I had to go through, because Jackson was fine, although we had to have a plastic surgeon, and he's adorable. And
that's so traumatic.
If
that's
this
so
happened to
traumatic
somebody else's child, let's pretend this happened to somebody else's child.
We did a nanny share at the time.
But you would have to put the dog down. So like you did try, you went to extreme measures. So that's my 2 cents. I mean, you really did. I'm so sorry.
Thank you for saying that. I said, like, I became an expert in a nightmare situation. I hope no one has to deal with that. It was not a choice. Actually, it's probably my biggest motherhood lesson is like, never say never. Because I don't know if you guys have pets, but when I was pregnant, I was like, how am I going to love a kid more than I love this dog? Like, I'm obsessed with this dog.
No, my cat, when we brought my son home, was like making these noises. He was like, and I was like, you touch my son and you're getting punted. I'm like, I would never injure an animal. But like,
of course,
my brother lives in New York alone in the apartment. And like, I was like, he is one snap from being sent to New York to live with you, which like, it would be.
Yes. It's not an easy decision. So I said never would I love anything as much as I loved Ryder the dog. Then I had my kid, and it's like, oh wait, I do. And so I think it's really easy to judge other parents or be like, I'm never going to do that or be like that. And I think the lesson just everyone should take is just never say never, because you actually have no clue what you don't know or how you're going to respond.
Well, it's our generation with screen time. It's like when we first started this thing, I was like, I'm never going to let Jack watch TV. He watches Blippi every day. Like he gets to, you know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. Like Coco Melon, I don't let him watch that. But like, I give it to him when he needs it. And he's looking at construction vehicles. Like we watched Barney every day. Like
it's fine. It's just like
not
everything in moderation.
It's funny, like being in our situations, because like Casey will say things like, she became a mother after me, and she would say things about motherhood, and I'd be like, okay, let me know how that goes. And now I feel like I'm doing the same thing, like with a boy being like, oh, I'm only going to do this, and she's like, okay. And like, you just, good friends are just like, okay, well, we'll see. I'll support you in that decision. But when you get there, I mean, that's motherhood in general. And that's obviously where the problem comes in, is because there's people in your life that are going to judge certain decisions, and more so than your decision over what stroller to buy.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And it can be really hard and really isolating. So as far as the community goes in your platform in Auggie, like, how in the weeds are you with that? Or I'm sure you have a team, obviously, but like, your story that you just told us now, like that's really traumatic. Are there people that are sharing those types of things, or is it just kind of surfacey stuff, like I said, like book recommendations or product recommendations?
A combination, but we have a whole venting chat and it's for women only. Not all of them are, women or men only, but this one is for women only. And people are sharing really relatable things. Everything from like, my mother-in-law is driving me crazy. Like, what do I do?
To I'm sure that's a very popular chat.
Oh yeah. So like, I don't feel supported by my partner and I'm about to lose it. People are getting real. And I think sometimes it's almost easier, especially when it feels curated, which Auggie does, if you do feel like your childhood best friend or somebody you've known forever is going to judge you for saying something, sometimes it's a little easy to go and like vent into a community that maybe you don't know one-on-one, but like they're a community of parents. We're all in it together. And what you're saying is relatable.
Well, and that goes back to the innate horrible curse of being a woman is we are shame sponges. Like we just pack it on and we just carry it everywhere with us about things that we do not need to feel shame about. Our bodies that just birthed this carry to birth this miracle. Our minds that are all messed up because our hormones are crazy. Our partners who we can't talk to because they don't get it. Like there are so many things that we blame ourselves for. And yes, it is easier to anonymously post it. And people, that's what I learned about motherhood. Women want to help. Like we want you to use all the same products as us because we think it's the right way, but we also really want to help you break it down and build it back up.
100%. So 2 things I have to say on that. One is you're 100% right, Casey. And I've been sitting here like kind of smirking because the first thing I thought of when you said like women, like the shame that we feel about things, like we're shame sponges, is like how much shame though is not even warranted because no one even said anything.
99%.
But just in our head, we're like,
mind reading, catastrophizing.
She said thanks with a period, not an exclamation point over text. She's obviously mad about like whatever. You know what I mean? Like how we as women just like internalize all these things as our fault, or somebody thinks this or somebody thinks that when nobody thinks anything. My husband sits down with me all the time and is like, okay, but who said that? And I'm like, no one, but I just am sure that's what they're thinking. I know
they're thinking it.
Yeah, I was like, but do you? Like, why are we making this a whole thing? And that obviously gets so much, that voice becomes so much louder in motherhood. Loud. The other thing, I forget what I was going to about sharing your opinions. So yes. So like I said, I went on and I like wrote in like, oh, here's these 2 books that I'm really loving and like shared that with that mom. That is I think there's such a power in that. And like, I wonder if you even know what you're doing with this platform, Lily, because like, that's such a simple thing, but such a simple win for me for the day.
You felt good about yourself.
I could have failed at every other thing today, but
I helped one person.
I did this one little thing that helped something. And that woman is going to like it and going to write, thank you, hopefully with an exclamation point and not a period.
I will if she doesn't.
And then I'm going to be like, okay, I at least did one thing right today. And like you said, Casey, like we love to feel like, oh, I can share this information. I can share what helped me. I can. Yeah.
I'm finding it with the Avatar series. Like I posted like the cover
what now?
What is it? A crown of thorns. And
the cord and throne and
whatever the hell it's called. I've read like 18 pages and I've literally been bombarded with people being like, do you like it? What book are you on? I was like, bro, I hardly exited the
I have no idea what this is. Is this like a Game of Thrones thing?
It's like a new Twilight, new Hunger Games. Like it's the new series.
Yeah, I read the first one. It did not, this is going to be controversial, but
people hate the first. Everyone's like, oh, get through the first 2 books. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll see you in 4 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
But that's what I'm saying. Like people they love things and they want to share it because they're like, let me make your life easier. And that in motherhood is just so amplified.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, I don't know how you both are raising your kids, but something at home that I just like really care about is that he's a kind person, especially as a man in this world. Like not that you don't need to be kind in a woman, but I just like as a woman raising a man, like I'm trying to speak to him with so much intention. I just want him to be kind and everything will fall into place. And so sometimes when I catch myself, like probably not even intentionally, but like subconsciously judging another parent's decision, I'm like, stop, just be kind. You have no idea what they're going through. Similar like with us and the dog. Like, yeah, it's really easy to judge from the outside, but that like really was hard, not with me and my partner, but with like our family was judging how we were handling it. With like our friends had different opinions. And so you don't know what people are going through. And so everyone should just be kind to each other.
You say it all the time. Just stay in your lane. Just stay in your lane, baby.
Stay in your lane.
Control.
So let's go back to that because we were talking about your postpartum depression, experience, and everything happened with the dog. That's super traumatic for you, for the family, for the child, all of it wrapped into it. And then how did you kind of start to crawl your way out of that depression hole?
Zoloft.
Yeah,
really. Seriously, that was the best thing ever. Zoloft.
But what happened to make you say, Lily?
Right, all right, it's time for that.
It's time.
Oh, this is like kind of dark, but I was driving home from my I was not suicidal. So I don't want that. I don't want it to come off like I was because people are really obviously struggling who are. But I had a thought being like, oh, if that like car hit me, it wouldn't be the end of the world. And what? That is like not normal.
Yes.
I think everybody has those feelings of like, maybe everyone would just be happier if like my mopey ass wasn't around. Like, I think that at its like genesis, at its lowest initial level of existence has crept into a lot of people's brains. Like, I suck to be around. I'm sure everyone would be happier if I just went away. Like,
which is so
you're
not
not going to get in the car and
mm-hmm.
drive away, or you're not going to take it to the extreme or take your own life, or you're not thinking of self-harm. But it's just the fact of like, I wouldn't want to be around me right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's that voice that's screaming
or it would be
as loud
easier.
as it can.
Yeah.
Or if you're getting to the point where life is so difficult for you to manage and just waking up every day, or that, like you were saying earlier, you have to remind yourself to laugh, remind yourself to smile. Like, that isn't baseline.
Normal. No.
And I think we forget that sometimes, that we just think, okay, this is what life is now. Like, I'm a mom, or maybe I'm just not good at this, and maybe it's my fault, and maybe it's this. Like, the amount, I mean, that's like, you know, so much that goes into the hormones and the chemicals and all of that. Like, that's not baseline. That's not what you're meant to live at.
100%. Honestly, such a
and
good
doctors
reminder.
don't check for that. Like, no one, like you go in 6 weeks and they're like, yep, you can have sex again and you can work out. See you later.
I know.
Yeah.
Great, thank you. Because that's
like,
what I was worried about, sir. Thank you.
But here's the thing, and Gianna says it all the time. Birth is so much, you know, you're pregnant and you are, Casey Smith said this, you're the Queen of England. That baby pops out and it is, oh my God, the baby, oh my God, this, send that an announcement card. What are you doing for your Christmas card? When's the baptism? When's this? You know, and it's so focused on the baby, which it should be, but the flowers and the outfits and the toys, and you're just dust in the wind. I mean, you are just an empty apartment at that point in time. And there is no focus on the mom and what's going on in here, and you're expected to bounce back. And that's why we wanted to draw so much focus to like, I'm here, I'm a human being. And this child just went in and shifted everything around. And now I'm just trying to like reconnect all the circuits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is really tough. And I think as much as we can talk about it like this, it's helpful, but just like, I wish I trusted myself a little bit. And I guess it's hard in hindsight because it was my first time having a baby. But like, when looking back, I'm like, I know what I'm like for the first 29 years of my life. Like, why didn't I trust myself to know this wasn't normal?
Yeah.
And I don't know.
That's a really interesting point. Yeah.
Because I think you get caught up in it. You're like, I do have this beautiful baby and I do have so much to be thankful for. Yes. Yes, it is chemical.
That was my experience. I hope that's not people who's listening experience, although the reality is a lot of us are impacted. Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
and it's important for them to know that like you said, like, that's not normal. I got help. I feel better. Like, and it's okay. Like, it's okay because there are these communities there. This is that you're not just the first person to feel it. Like, it's So I really appreciate you sharing that story with us. Where did Auggie fall into the line of all of this? When did you create this?
Yeah. And wait, what was your last business? Because you said you were selling your last business right before your son was born, or no, right after like, okay.
So
you're just like slyly successful AF.
Yeah.
You're just like putting it on the radar. Right. Like, give us all the business tips here too.
Okay, I will give the business tips. So I started my first business, Spots, at 23, straight out of college. It's still in business. Edible
Where was
branding
college
business.
for you?
GW in DC.
Nice.
Cool. Okay.
What about you guys?
I was University of Maryland, so I wasn't far away.
Oh, fun.
I was Villanova, so also we're just a train ride away.
I had a wild night at Maryland. We'll just leave it at that.
I'm sure you did. Yes.
Yeah.
I was probably there. Correct.
If I can't curse, then I'm not going to talk about that story. But I'm an entrepreneur through and through. Like, I cannot picture working for somebody else. And I started that first business. So promotional products, we would customize cupcakes, dog treats, candy, you name it, with any type of image. And I mentioned this earlier, but when we were just talking in the beginning, but how we were able to really scale was we became How 1-800-Flowers personalized food. So we would ship all over the country. And then we sold to another food distributor that 1-800-Flowers brought on. And I bootstrapped that business. So I ran it for 9 years with no outside investment. So happy to talk about that experience. Augie's now venture backed. It has pros and cons on both sides. But now let me just think. So I sold it in 2023. My son was alive already, and I started Auggie like basically right away, right after it. I
couldn't sit still. Yeah, that's how Casey and I are.
Still.
Yeah.
Where were you? When was the inception of Auggie, and where were you on your, PPD journey?
My mental health journey.
Yeah.
Auggie started originally, or I started even thinking about like just the idea of social sharing before I was even a mom around travel. And I realized, travel is like really hard because there's nostalgic elements to travel. Budget is a whole factor.
Yeah. There's a new platform that just came out. Have you heard of this? Plannin'?
No, great. But I wish them so much luck, and I'll check it out. I felt like travel
we'll talk offline about that.
Was too hard, too broad. And then when I became a mom and people started to send these Bibles around like itineraries, I was like, what is happening? It's kind of similar in like the ideation phase of where I was going with that travel business. And then I surveyed a bunch of moms, and I went out and I raised money and hired people and just started building.
You make it sound so easy.
I know. I don't know why.
Surveyed some babes and like got some cash, and here we are.
That's what I want to ask about. So this sounds like so simple for you, or so, I don't want to say simple because I'm sure it's difficult, but like very much ingrained in you. Right. Yeah. Exactly. It's just, that's the way your brain is. So that I'm sitting here thinking like, there's no way that this woman has imposter syndrome because like this is just what you think, like how you felt you were. Like, so for example, like people look at me and Casey and they're like, how could you possibly sit in front of a microphone? That's terrifying. I hate the sound of my own voice. That's what people say to me all the time. Like, how could you possibly edit this podcast? I hate the sound of my own voice. I'm like, this is like normal for me to do this. So you in the entrepreneur space, like that is just normal for you to do that. Love that for you. But do you ever feel imposter syndrome, or what can you tell us today about like how we can beat that? Because I think every mother feels imposter syndrome in the term of being a mother, let alone then having a business outside of it. It's like double imposter syndrome that we get.
Yeah. I mean, I have imposter syndrome all of the time. There is,
good to know.
I have imposter syndrome all of the time.
But good for us to hear that you do. Okay, good.
Yes. And I honestly, I'm sorry, like not I'm sorry, but like I hope, yes, I do agree how I just said that sentence when we were talking about starting the business sounded really easy. But the reality is like, there is some confidence I have because we're working so hard. Like I'm speaking to so many parents. Talk about founder market fit. Like I am in it. I am a mom. I get the emotional problem. I get the business problem. And so I'm able to sleep a little bit better at night because I feel confident that I'm doing as much as I can, at least when it comes to Auggie. Like, being a mom is a different story. But with Auggie, like I've thought about this problem. I've thought about this business more than anybody else. And so that helps when I feel like I'm working as hard as I can, but I have imposter syndrome on the time. I have imposter syndrome on this call. Like, why the F does anyone want to listen to me? How do you beat it? You asked. Do you beat it, or do you just like embrace it and try to lift yourself
silence
up? Like,
it a little.
Silence it, I think, and duck. Like my mom's a psychologist. She's always like, just duck. If you're feeling a certain way, just like go under it or visualize a stop sign, and it helps. And yeah, she's a good woman. She has a lot of tips, and she was amazing.
What a money saver that is to have a mom as a psychologist. That's a great 2-for-1 right there.
People say psychologist kids are wild, which I guess in theory I am. But yeah, I think don't try to beat it. Know that everybody feels it, and how liberating when you acknowledge that everyone's feeling this way. Oh, it's actually not such a big deal.
I also think it's a good thing. Going back to what Gianna said about hating the sound of her own voice. If you love the sound of your own voice, you probably need to hang it up. Like we're a raging narcissist at this point. Like if you don't think you are an imposter, you're probably an asshole. Like that's,
Yeah,
definitely.
Right. Yeah.
Or you don't ever feel like there's nothing more you can't learn or more you can't do.
You think you're the smartest person in the room. Bye. You're in the wrong room and you need to get a reality check. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. that's what I am hiring a team of people, and what I'm honestly trying to do is why would I want to think that I'm the smartest person in the room? If anything, I'm trying to hire people who are smarter than me.
Smarter than you. Yes.
Yeah. So and do we think it's a gender thing? Like, do more women have imposter syndrome than men?
I would be interested to see studies on that.
I think men just put on that facade. I think they do, but they think they have to like be the loudest.
Yeah, or they're like just like stupid and not thinking. They're just like, oh. Right.
I know.
They don't have that like feature ingrained.
Yeah. Sometimes my husband's in like one of those stare things, and even when I'm in that stare thing, I'm like, oh, wait, the laundry needs to turn. Like, I need to make a doctor's appointment. Oh, the groceries. And sometimes I'm like, what were you just thinking? And he was like, nothing. I was like, there has never been a minute where I'm thinking nothing.
My husband and I talk about this all the time. He was
thinking about the Roman Empire, obviously.
My husband and I talk about this all the time. I'm like, what do you think about when you go to bed? He met that question with the most perplexed look. He goes, what do you mean?
Wait, he doesn't think about what birthday gifts he needs to buy for people?
Oh my God. I have to keep this next to my bed, my pad, and like because like I'll be like just dozing off to sleep. I'll be like, the dishwasher's broken, the garbage disposal, I need to get a birthday gift for Gianna. Like, it's just like the dumbest things. Like, I need a stool for the bathroom. But like, they sometimes don't. And Eric will think I'm mad at him because he's like, you just went silent. What happened? Like during the day, I'll be like, oh, I just was thinking about things that I need to do.
Yeah, I had 70 other tabs open that I needed to address. We've got like 15 minutes left. I want to make sure we get into like, hello, we have the CEO of this enormous marketplace of baby products on the line. I need to hear all of your favorite things, or what are some of the favorite things in this, in like that you've seen in the communities. So let's start with your favorite things. And then I want to hear the things that you were like, okay, I didn't even know. Yeah.
Okay.
Or like,
I
didn't even know about this.
Yes. Right. Yes. I love that. Like the nuance things. Yes. Okay, go.
I think number one for me is that baby Bjorn bouncer. And I saw a hilarious reel about it. And somebody said, their husband said, why do you have the bouncer in the bathroom? And that's when the woman realized they're living two different realities. I would put the baby in that bouncer when I showered, when I'm in the bathroom, everywhere, on top of the kitchen counter, which probably is not allowed. So baby Bjorn bouncer, number one for me. I would say number two is the Nanit camera, because of just the peace of mind.
With we call it the breathing man band. Like the breathing man band needs to go on, so you know your baby is breathing.
Yep. Number two is that, just because like I can be out on a girls' night and pop in and make sure he's good.
Yeah.
Also, I love it because sometimes I like watch him and my husband, and the Nanit
so
gives me
cute.
It's the sweetest. It's like such a glimpse into their love that like I wouldn't be able to get. So number two would be Nanit. Number three, I mean, Duna, hands down.
Oh,
pop car seat to stroller. And then I'll give you four. I'll give five. How about that?
Yeah.
Four, I would say this is a little bit rogue, but there is a company called Keepsake. It starts with a Q, Queepsake. They text you. You can add grandparents, you can add partners, you can add aunts and uncles. They text you a question and you respond with a memory from that day. And
shut up.
Talk about Gianna. You actually just said, what could I do with, and I'll send you a code. We can give everyone a code. Honestly, I have one, so I'll send it to you and you can pass it on to your audience. But dead. You said that responding to that mom made you feel like a better person just because from being helpful. That's how I feel when I answer a Keepsake text. I'm like, if I was a crap mom today, like at least I put in his memory and like that will be tracked. So that is like my version of like the mom book that I do, or the photo book. You can send pictures and then they print a book for you. It's amazing.
That's amazing. I love that. I'm starting that tonight.
And can you, how much does it cost? Can you like gift it to someone? Because that's
it's the only thing I gift. It's the best.
Oh, that's great.
It's the best. It's the best.
Okay, cool.
Because they don't know that they're going to love it. You know, it's not an obvious one, but then, and my mom writes in, it's really sweet.
I'm obsessed with that.
Yeah. And then I would say number 5 for me is the snot sucker. I think I'm sucking snot all day long over here.
My son hates when I do that. I love to do it. And he's like, ah.
Do you have the electric one?
I do. But I use the bulb one.
Yeah. We went through that phase, and then I gave him the electric one, and I let him do it himself, and that kind of helped. So maybe you're entering that stage.
Oh, that's so interesting.
DIY. Okay.
The DIY stage.
Yeah.
DIY not sucker. I want to comment about the Baby Bjorn, that we were a Baby Bjorn family. Case, I feel like Jack wasn't like super into his. My children like lived in theirs. They were
into
the best.
Apparatuses.
Yeah.
Like you would wear him a lot?
We would hold, he was the first one, and we would just
he never touched the ground.
Yeah. This
my
one,
children were obsessed with them. They were both like flinging themselves in it. They loved it. It was like a like
I didn't know I was
them.
allowed to put him down. Like I don't know. It was like a weird, I don't know. I was a mess.
Okay, so two lessons we have learned so far from this podcast. One, you do not need to suffer. If you are struggling with mental health postpartum, that is not normal, and you don't have to feel like that. And number two, you are allowed to put your baby down.
You can't drop your baby, but you can place them down.
And you can't shake your baby, but you can put the... Remember that video in the hospital? Did you guys have to watch that?
I don't think so.
What?
I don't
you didn't watch
I
the shaken baby video?
I don't
Yes,
it's
really sad.
It needs a rebrand. So if anyone's out there, that video needs a rebrand.
It's really sad. My husband said if something ever happened and our Baby Bjorn broke and there was only one left on the planet and it was $1 million, that he would sell everything he owned to get the last
have you ever seen that Sex and the City episode where Miranda's bouncer breaks and like Samantha puts a vibrator in it to like keep it going?
Yes. Yes. So I fully agree with that being your top 5. Okay. What about products that you were like, didn't even know this existed and now I need it? Or like ones that were major flops for you and moms shouldn't waste their time with?
Okay. One I wish I knew about earlier was, and Casey, you hit on this kind of earlier with the height of the Nuna. So the Up-A-Baby stroller, or I think any stroller that converts into a number 2, you need what are they called? Adapters.
Yeah.
Yes.
And even if you have one kid, you can put the adapters on and it makes the stroller go higher. I hated my kid being so low. Like I was like, I want him to see the world. So I wish I knew about the adapters.
Also it's nice because like shopping, you can put a lot more stuff under there. Or like going to the beach or going somewhere. Yes. Yeah. All this stuff.
Throw it all in. But this is a hard question.
But good hack. That's a good hack.
What I wish I had that I didn't have. So I also discovered, and we talked about this when we were just chatting, but about the Bumco butt spatula. Love it. Didn't have it in the early days.
You need it?
I just feel like I don't want the Aquaphor. I just like...
Yeah, and especially you, Case, with the long nails. Like you don't get the Aquaphor and the nails. You just
so
use
what do you do?
Silicone spatula.
I just
you
pick
get
it out.
Right in there.
Pick it out. It probably is with you all day.
You know what are the dumbest things that I got and people gifted me? PPTPs.
Stupidest thing.
Stupid thing. The wind blows like literally, and that's like off.
Just throw a wipe over.
Yes.
How many? Fine. Okay, as boy moms, how many times have you been peed on? I'm a year and a half in. I've only been peed on twice.
Once.
Do you throw a wipe over?
No.
Oh, in the early days?
I'm just
I think
swift,
I have good hand-eye. Like I would be able to like quick cover it.
I mean, that's what my tennis instructor has said about me. So maybe that has, that's in my pee-pee.
I've gotten like seeped through. Like if I'm holding him, like leakage.
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking about like changing the baby and like the water fountain goes off.
Yeah, I think it happens to me
They're
like
not
2
quick
times.
enough. They're not quick enough.
Yeah.
I have gotten peed on, but I am fat. Like a little baby penis is hilarious.
Also, baby pee is like, it's like water. Like it's not.
It's fine.
We were in Nantucket and we were bathing Jack in the sink and he peed in the sink and my brother was like, you gotta change the water. That's disgusting. And we're like, Lachlan, it's fine. Like it's baby water. Like there's nothing. He ate blueberries and salmon. Like it's not.
You're gonna change the water every time he pees. Good luck, because that happens a lot over here.
Oh my God.
So wait, you play tennis?
I do.
You have time for hobbies? Oh.
I do. I don't do anything else. I don't run. I don't go to yoga. Like that's my workout. That's a mental workout and a physical workout for me because it's like the only thing that makes my brain just shut off and just focus where I am.
Great. I'm so glad you have that.
Gianna and I have also been, we're really weird in the sense that we have been nomads. Like we have just been like traveling men, rambling men for the last 10 years or 5 years of our lives. And now Gianna has a home that like she hung pictures up and like bought things for. and she has friends.
Casey
so now
isn't
she
there
has
yet.
hobbies.
She's getting there.
I'm like a year out. Okay, wait. The
Lily,
other thing I do want to say, baby Brezza.
Okay.
Do you guys like that or hate that?
Very controversial. I feel like if you love it, you love it. And then the people that don't have it, like, hate on it.
I called it the baby Keurig. It was like
me
making my coffee in the morning.
I never
just put
used
it in
though. No.
and do it. I loved it.
I didn't use it because I used Bobby formula. I just put it in and I shook. I was like a little confused. But I guess if you're formula feeding from the beginning, I don't know. To each their own. I also breastfed, in my opinion, for like.
That's the other thing. I bought all the breastfeeding things and then I only breastfed for a month. But I'm going to give it a harder try this time because I'm hoping with the second baby, I'm less PPD. And if I am PPD, I'm less denial-y and just.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you were too.
Well, I just realized it. Yeah.
Oh,
recently.
Welcome back.
Yeah. That's where I think like the community and the marketplace is really helpful because we're talking about it in the beginning. It's like you're being sent all this stuff. You don't even know what it is. Becoming a mom and having to understand all of the products that are associated with babies and with postpartum and breastfeeding is like learning Russian.
I was just going to say, it's like a new language.
Or learning a new language. You
Yeah.
don't know what any of this stuff means. Like, see, like you're like, oh, the butt spatula. You're like, what the F do I need a butt spatula for? Like, you don't know what these things are. And I think that's where, like, in the beginning, you're like, all right, I just get all of these things and I don't even know what to register for. Like, there should be, and this would be interesting for your platform, like basically like a course of here's what to register for.
Like
here's
a
what you
curriculum.
have. Yeah.
Well, I want to see your Bible.
Here's the other thing. You're allowed to order things after the baby comes.
Yes.
We
have a secret for you. There is something called Auggie. You can order things when the baby is born. Yeah, I think like it's so we have a slogan and it's for the overjoyed and overwhelmed. And I think what people don't talk about is you can be really happy and you can be really overwhelmed. And this is actually from my mom. It's very okay to feel two things at the same time. And we should normalize that.
We talk about that with grief all the time. Joy and grief can coexist. So yes.
Exactly. And like the problem, at least for me, with being overjoyed all the time and also overwhelmed all the time is both of those things are equally as exhausting. So I'm just like trying to give myself grace and like, I'm not a believer that you necessarily can do it all. I think like people try to do it all. And that's kind of where this imposter syndrome connects to because like,
interesting.
You would like, sometimes people are lying or you like, don't know what they're doing. And so I just try to show up in whatever I'm doing. I just try to be intentional in that moment. And then when I'm done with this, I can go and mom intentionally for a little bit. And then I can go back to running my business and being 100% in on that. Anyway, I went on a tangent, but
No, but
there's another tangent.
Like,
that was
like
so
someone
important.
texts you and you're at a low and they're like, how are you doing? I'm thinking of you. And you're like, I'm great. And it's like, I feel so crappy right now, but I don't want to get into it with you and explain it. And I just don't have the energy to explain it.
So you think I'm great.
Well, we talk about all the time, social media, you only see people's highlights. You don't see the every day-to-day or the hard things that are going on.
And
don't put that
I was
out.
so vocal about the dog and I wanted to be because I was trying to rehome him. Also, if other people could learn from this, I wanted that.
And maybe you were looking for like reassurance a little. Like you were probably also like a part of you looking for someone to be like, it's okay, Lily. Like it's okay. You're doing the right thing.
Yeah. And that's what social media is like. It's a blessing, but it's a curse. Like, why am I being shamed for like I'm trying to do the right thing. It's not like I wanted this to happen. And it's just like, people are crazy. Another reason, here's another lesson, be kind.
Yeah. I want to acknowledge though that like a lot of the products that we talked about today are pretty pricey. And that's just kind of the nature of life in general. And this industry obviously is like $1 billion industry for baby stuff. Does your platform have the type of thing kind of like a honey fund where it's like,
really
okay, say you want the Duna and obviously like one person can't purchase that themselves, but maybe a bunch of your aunts or uncles are going to go in on it or a bunch of your cousins are going to donate to it, or you can just say, okay, I'm giving $50 towards that product.
Or do you have a secondhand marketplace that you could introduce?
That's what I was going to go into. So to answer your question, yes, we will have group buying where people can contribute to a specific gift and then you can use the money. But then also because and this comes with scale, so we will get there. But if you're registering Casey in one place and then Gianna, you guys don't even know each other, but we know that she's going to be done with her baby Bjorn soon. Now you're registering for it. We can technically connect you and be
Right.
like, there may be a match for you to
You could
pass
do
on
like
that
an
product.
ad, like an I need a baby Bjorn. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's all
Love
coming one day at a time. Imposter syndrome every step.
Like, yes. But that's how I feel like the direction of this should go. It's like baby registries and baby showers shouldn't just be like the little things. It should be like, hey, this piece of equipment is game changing. That Doona helps you more than these 17 onesies.
Don't buy me
with
a onesie from China that says "Mommy's Little
Don't
Helper."
buy me a blanket with his name on it.
No.
Like we have enough blankets.
I will say I was ticked off about the volume, the magnitude of blankets that I received.
It's offensive.
But you do need them. You do need them because they do all get puked on.
Yes, but I have like a knitted one and one with his name. This one, I'm like, enough.
Yes,
it's crazy. So look at Keepsake. It's a really good gift for people.
I'm already
to get.
on the website. Yeah.
Oh, good. I think the code is Auggie, but I'll get you one if it's not.
We'll just start typing, banging on the keyboard and see.
And we will have a link to Auggie in the show notes. Highly recommend our audience to go and check that out. And I think we're in talks to maybe get like a mother up community in there as well. So more information.
What is the price
on that
of Auggie?
to come.
It's free, ladies.
What?
It's
$3.99, baby.
You should not have to figure it out alone. Why would we charge you for that? No. It is free.
Love that.
And we're international. You guys are the best. Thank you so much. I could chat with you all day.
So much for being here.
You.
Really appreciate it.